Hello students, hope you all are fine. Let us start with your next topic, fundamental rights. You have already read about fundamental rights in your previous classes. In this class, you will study the explanation of all the fundamental rights. So before going further, I would like to explain you few glossary words so that you can understand the topics well. The first word is rights. These are the guarantees to the citizens to live up a social life in a dignified manner. Here I would like to tell you that there is a difference between fundamental rights and rights. Fundamental rights are the rights which are guaranteed or which are given by the Indian Constitution to the citizens of India. Whereas the rights are the guarantees to citizens to live up a social life in a dignified manner. Duties: a performance towards others or society to enjoy rights. Constitutional remedies: protective arrangements to citizens by the Constitution against any exploitation. Exploitation: the act of doing injustice with others in any manner. Begar: a forced labor without payment. Minorities: these are the groups having common language or religion and in a particular part of the country. Writ, which means a court order. Every human being is entitled to enjoy certain rights which ensure a good and healthy living. The Constitution of India offers all the citizens some basic rights. These rights are known as the fundamental rights. Fundamental rights are one of the important features of Indian Constitution. These rights are justiciable, which means that if someone is denied these rights, he or she can go to the Supreme Court. Fundamental rights is a charter of rights in the Constitution of India. Part 3 of the Indian Constitution contains a list of fundamental rights. It guarantees civil liberties such that all the Indians can lead their lives in peace and harmony. Importance of fundamental rights. They are essential for the overall development of the people. They are necessary for maintaining of international peace and order. They guarantee the rights of the individuals against the state as well as against other individuals. They guarantee the rights of minorities against the majorities. These rights ensure effective enjoyment of certain privileges which are essential in a free and democratic society. Features of fundamental rights. There are many special features of fundamental rights. Number 1. It is an integral part of our constitution. It cannot be easily amended. Amendment means to change. Next, these rights are provided to every citizen without discriminating on the basis of caste, creed, color, sex and religion, so they are universal. They are not absolute. They can be restricted during emergency. These are legally enforceable in a court of law. Objectives of the fundamental rights. There are two main objectives of fundamental rights. Every person can claim these rights. Every government is bound to give these rights to their citizens. The Constitution of India guarantees 6 fundamental rights to its citizens. They are right to equality, right to freedom, right against exploitation, right to freedom of religion, right to liberty and personal freedoms, cultural and educational rights of minority groups, right to constitutional remedy. So let us start with the first fundamental right, right to equality. Right to equality ensures equality before law by Article 14. The Constitution has declared that all the citizens are equal before law. No one will be discriminated on the grounds of religion, race, caste, sex, or place of birth. Every person has access to all public places including playground, shops, etc. It provides equality of opportunity for all the citizens in the matters related to employment or appointment. The practice of untouchability has also been abolished and its practice in any form is forbidden. It also states that the government can make special provisions for upliftment of certain groups of the society, such as scheduled castes, scheduled tribes, and other backward classes. All the titles awarded by the British government have now been abolished. Only military ranks and academic distinctions can be awarded. The next right is right to freedom of religion. In India, many religions are practiced. Articles 25 to 28 of our constitution define our country as secular. This right implies that all the religions are equal before law. There is no state religion. Every citizen of India has the freedom to practice and propagate his or her religion. Our constitution prohibits the imparting of religious instruction in schools run by the state or in institutions which are recognized by the state or get aid from the state. No tax can be imposed upon the people for religious purposes. The next right is right against exploitation. Exploitation means misuse of the services of others by force or tradition. According to this right, the right against exploitation allows Indian citizens to stand up against any kind of exploitation that he or she might be going through. It prohibits forced labor or begging. It prohibits employment of children below the age of 14 years in factories or mines. It also abolishes buying and selling of humans. The next right is right to liberty and personal freedoms. Our constitution guarantees six different freedoms to promote the idea of liberty under articles 19 to 22. All the citizens have the right to: number 1, freedom of speech and expression. Every citizen is free to express his or her thoughts and ideas through speeches, writings, or newspapers. He or she is free to criticize and speak against the policies of the government too if she or he disagrees with them. Number 2, assemble peacefully without arms. In order to express their views and to exchange ideas, citizens can assemble peacefully without arms at any place. They can also assemble for celebrating a festival or other such purposes. Next, move freely throughout India. Every Indian citizen has the freedom to go anywhere in the country. One can move from place to place, city to city, and state to state. Form associations and unions. Citizens of India have the freedom to form associations or unions like trade unions and educational or cultural societies. Next is reside and settle in any part of India. Indian citizens have the freedom to reside and settle in any part of the country. Practice any profession and occupation. Every citizen has the right to choose any profession or occupation he or she wants to practice. The next right is cultural and educational rights. Cultural and educational rights were incorporated in the Constitution with a view to protecting the interests of minorities and to enable them to conserve their distinct language, script, or culture. Articles 29 to 30 of our Constitution states that everyone has the right to develop and preserve their culture. People belonging to different communities also have the right to establish their own educational institutions. Government also helps and encourages the development of cultural activities of different regions and communities. The last right is right to constitutional remedies, which is the most important right of the Indian Constitution. Article 32 to our Constitution safeguards our fundamental rights by granting us the right to constitutional remedies. This right ensures that all the citizens are able to utilize fundamental rights. If any citizen feels that one of his rights has been violated, he has the right to approach the Supreme Court directly for the enforcement of his fundamental rights. This remedial right itself is a fundamental right included in Part 3 of the Indian Constitution. The judiciary is thus constituted as the protector and guarantor of fundamental right. These courts possess the power to uphold the fundamental rights of the citizens by issuing a writ or an order. These writs are habeas corpus, mandamus, prohibition, quo warranto, certiorari. So let us discuss these writs. The first is habeas corpus, which means to have a body or to produce. This writ is used to demand production of release of person who is illegally detained. Next is mandamus. Through this writ, you can command a public official to perform his public duty. That means this writ means we command. Next is prohibition. Prohibition means to forbid. Next, fourth writ is quo warranto. Quo warranto meaning by what authority. Through this writ, courts can question any public officer that by what authority have you assumed the public office. Next writ is certiorari. Certiorari means to be certified. Through this writ, Supreme Court and High Court can command the lower courts to submit its records for their review. So just a recap of writs again so that you can understand well. If you have to ask a public officer that by what authority have you assumed the office, we use writ of quo warranto. It is the mostly used writ as any stranger can also file this writ. If you have to stop a court from pronouncing a judgment, then you use the writ of prohibition. But if the court has already given the judgment and you want to stop the judgment, you stop the judgment to be from coming into effect, or you can say to stop the judgment from coming into effect, you use the writ of certiorari. If you want to command a public officer to perform his duty, you use the writ of mandamus. And if you want to save a person from illegal detention, then you use the writ of habeas corpus. So I think these writs and all the fundamental rights are clear to you. Thank you, children.